Hello, and thank you for joining us for this edition of Digium Live. My name is Matthew Hilton, and I am here with Jessica Campas.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And Jessica Campas is with our inside sales team. She's one of our account executives here at Digium. And today we're going to talk about the top 5 ways you can reduce your telephony costs when getting a new phone system.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's jump right in. Number 1 on our list, how can we help to reduce people's telephone costs?
I would say reduce your costs by taking a good look at your existing carrier. A lot of time people have POTS lines, analog lines, a PRI or a T1 line, and you should take a look at your bill, see what you're paying each month, see what you're paying over a year, and maybe take a look at evaluating SIP trunking, because in most cases that can change or that could save people a lot of money. Also, take a look at phone systems that might be able to work with your existing provider if you happen to be getting a good deal right now.
Okay, and so for those of us that are uninitiated, carriers are being like the AT&Ts, Verizons of the world, the big players in the space.
Yes.
That's basically just how you get your phone numbers into your building.
Exactly.
Okay, and are they all the same? Like if somebody goes from one carrier to the next, do they order the same type of equipment, or is it a matter of just look to see what the best price is?
It depends. Make sure that you're asking a lot of questions. You want to know, is this an analog line? Is this a PRI line? Are my numbers going to be able to port from one carrier to another? So making sure that you ask all of the questions that you can think of, or it's really going to save you a lot of money in the long term.
Excellent. All right, so number 2, what is our next step on how people can lower their costs?
I would say review your long-term costs. Don't just look at your upfront costs, but look at your recurring costs each year. It's going to save you a lot of money. A lot of times the quote initially will look fantastic. You're not going to realize that you're going to be paying more in the long run. So don't be afraid to ask. What's my 5-year total cost of ownership? What's my 3-year? And make sure that you're asking that with each vendor that you're looking at.
Okay, and what would some of those long-term costs be? I'm guessing we're talking about support contracts and things like that?
Absolutely. Technical support in particular hours, like after-hour support would be another thing to ask about. And also on-site assistance. What if everything went down? Natural disasters unfortunately do happen, tornadoes, hurricanes, so maybe it could cost you an arm and a leg down the road if something like that happens. So asking those questions and being proactive up front could save you a lot of money in case one of those disasters did happen.
Okay, great. And I know number 3 is also about some additional add-on costs. So
Yes.
what else could somebody be having on their quotes that they might not realize is bringing up the cost of their initial quote?
So ask what it would be if you were to get additional items that you currently have. So an IVR, that's a very popular feature after hour, also called an auto attendant. A lot of times you get one with your initial quote, but what if you want to after hours and during hours? That might be another $20 per cost, or per IVR. Also ask about mobile apps. Sometimes that can be extra. Additional phones, recording. You want to make sure, am I going to be paying extra for that, or is that something I'm going to get initially? So don't be afraid to ask specifically each feature that you use. Itemize that. Tell me if it's all included, or what am I going to pay for each feature.
So that's a great point too, and that brings us up to number 4 on our list. So obviously the customer is going to want to look at what they need versus what they want.
Exactly.
So how can they use that to their advantage to get a lower price on their phone system?
Evaluate what you're currently using. Are you going to be using those features with your future system? And also look at your wish list. What is the things that you're willing to pay for? If you're needing, like I said, recording, see if that's part of like a call center package. Do I really need all the other features, or am I just going to need recording? Then you might want to second guess that vendor if it's, I'm paying for one feature, but I'm having to pay for this entire package just to get that feature. Or, like I said, additional IVRs, additional queues. Really do your homework and evaluate what you're currently using and what your wish list is, and make sure that the provider that you're considering is going to be able to check all those off without forcing you to pay for extra features you may not need.
Great point. And I know here at Digium, we're very big into, we obviously have SwitchVox, which is an all-inclusive phone system with all of our features included, so we don't really have to worry about that.
Exactly.
But for other systems that are out there, I know we tend to look at a business process and figure out, okay, do we need to sell on a feature, or are we looking for a business process that needs to be enhanced? And so I think using your example of whether or not you need add-ons or not, well, it totally depends on if you have a business process that needs to be resolved or not.
Absolutely.
It's a great way to look at that. All right, and what's our number 5? Our number 5 option.
I would say look at something that you can manage yourself. That's going to save you a lot of money in the long run. Value-added resellers and partners are fantastic for training, for helping for initial installations, configurations, but what if you just need to add a user? What if you need to make a quick change to your auto attendant? Oh, we've got the 4th of July coming up, or Christmas holiday, something like that. You want to make a quick change for maybe inclement weather. Those are minor changes that I think any IT person or office manager should be able to do themselves. And in some cases, if you are forced to work with, the vendor or a partner, that could cost you a lot of money for those one-time changes. So it's nice if you have a system that you can manage yourself. And don't be afraid to ask for things like 30-day trials. Ask for a way to kick the tires yourself, so to speak, because you want to be able to make sure that you're comfortable managing it and your end users are comfortable using the system day in and day out.
Well, I think those are a great top 5 list on how to save money on your next phone system. Any other words of advice for our watchers today?
I think we've covered the top 5. There's many, many more, but my number one thing is don't be afraid to ask questions. Anyone in sales should be able to answer your questions or find someone who can. So don't be afraid to do your homework. You're not going to offend anyone. You're the customer, and we need to make sure you get what you want.
Excellent. Well, Jessica, thank you for taking the time with us today.
No problem.
And we will see you all again next time on Digium Live.